welcome to the Storage Syndicate Spotlight. Thanks for joining us on Wednesday night. Super stoked tonight. So happy to welcome Frank Fisher to the show. He is the most energetic person that you do not know. Frank is like the guy that hangs out in the shadows. You will not find him on social media. You will not find his story unless you really go digging. I was very, very lucky to get connected with him and get a little bit of his energy into my life. He is an extremely successful entrepreneur, incredibly diverse in what he's doing. Really excited to have him bring his story to all of you today. I think there's lessons in what he's done for all of us. And more importantly, just excited to share 45 minutes with him because this guy will get you fired up. As always, joined by Steve Murphy, Jackie Wright signing in from Tennessee. Jackie, nice to have you on the show. All of you guys, if you have questions during the course of the show, please, we want you guys to get more interactive, so don't be afraid to put questions in. We will get to them as we can. You guys that don't know Steve Murphy, we affectionately know him as Murph. He's kind of our fraternity brother that keeps our whole thing going. So excited to have Murph along for the ride and really kind of excited to tell you guys a little bit about Frank Fisher. I know a lot of you guys got our when we sent out the marketing piece. He's been an entrepreneur literally since childhood. He's been working and holding jobs down since his early teenage years, really started working for himself from 18 years old and has parlayed one business into another, always been involved in some way or other in real estate. So a lot of ground to cover. So without further ado, we're going to get to talking to Frank and let him really take us through his story.
Yeah, man, Frank, I want to kick things off with you, man. I'm excited to have you on. I've only gotten to speak to you on the phone a few times, so it's cool to connect via Zoom or via this meeting. So pleasure. Thank you for coming on. We're on a really good real estate platform. So I kind of want to kick things off from the very beginning, going way back to, really got you started in real estate and what piqued your interest with that.
Oh, man. Murph, Thaddeus, some introduction I got to live up to, man. Good. Thanks, dude. Great job, man. Great job. Yeah, Murph. No, I was looking forward to this too, man, because we spoke briefly, quickly when I signed up with the syndicate. I'm excited about that, but we really didn't get too much time to kick it a little bit. So, all right, man, you want to talk about real estate and how we got into it. Oh, this is, I guess we got to go back, man. You only got 45 minutes, so we'll have to do this.
Look, know this ahead of time. We got future shows. We can always bring you back.
It might be a part 2, man. I can feel it.
That's great.
All right, so let's go back, man. You want to talk about real estate? So I guess I got to start with my father. My father lost a lot of time in his life, man. He did about 14 years in jail, so he had it rough, man. And he came out, and he was 38 years old when he came out for good. And when he got started, he came out like a man on a mission, man, because he lost so much time, 14 years. So he came out, and he couldn't get a job, right? Nobody's going to hire him. He's a felon, all of that. So he started scrap metaling, picking up junk cars, bringing them to the junkyard, and that's what he did. And the man worked around the clock. So what happened with him, long story short, working hard, long time, he ended up working. There's so many things, man. I'm trying to put it together for you. But when he bought his first house, I want to tell you the story. Can I tell you really the truth? The first house that he built, never mind. I don't know. You want to hear it? This is good, man.
Tell the story. Now you got us baited.
You want to hear the story? So let me tell you, right? You got to go with the. Sorry, Ma. My mother's listening. I got to say it. The first house that he did. Now remember this, right? Yeah, his background. He ordered all the material from the lumberyard. Okay, ordered all the material from the lumberyard. The night before it was supposed to be delivered, he stole the trucks with all the material, brought the trucks to the house with the material, and then cut up the trucks. So that's how he got into his first piece of real estate.
Oh my goodness.
Back in the day, man. Back in the day. So yeah, it was a little crazy. But anyway, going forward, he ended up getting into 6 real estates. He got 6 pieces of property. All right. So point is that he came out and he lost so much time. And I always admired the part where he started so late and was able to put together 6 houses. So to me, all my other friends, the parents, the friends, they couldn't, they had one piece of property. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because
it's your dad. I know.
Yeah, it's my dad, man. Right.
Don't know. Frank lost his dad a couple years ago, so this is an emotional thing for him. And listen, all of us have a story, and all of us have things going on. You were part of that with your dad. Like, obviously, you weren't part of chopping up the trucks from the local.
No.
Getting rid of those, but you were involved with your dad in this process of acquiring properties and doing the work on these houses from a young age.
Right. So anyway, he ended up in his career. He ended up getting 6 pieces of property. So him being able to acquire 6 houses in his lifetime, man, that stood out to me because none of my friends' parents were able to do that. So my one of my things was what could I do if I didn't lose the amount of time that he lost? All right. So he lost 14 years. So if I got started early and didn't lose any time like he lost, what could I accomplish? And that's really when I focused on, I started a landscaping business when I got out of school. And then I built the landscaping business up. I really got that thing up and running really well. And then that's when I did my first house. I was 22 years old when I built my first house. 22 years old, hustled, cut the grass, did cleanups, did leaves, raking lawns, and saved the money. And then I built that house on credit cards. I built that house on from every job that I did. I'll never forget my mother. I had a lumberyard bill. Now I didn't go stealing trucks. That wasn't me. So Ma, I got a lumber bill over at the building at the lumberyard. Can I borrow your credit card to go and pay for the materials? So she says, sure, no problem. But she didn't realize at the time that the bill was $25,000.
You do what you got to do, right?
Right, Mama. $25,000 was the bill.
By the way, my mom's listening to this interview right now, and she's laughing her ass off right now because she's put some credit cards out there for some significant chunks of change.
Dude, I got to tell you, Mom, I love you to death. She's been there since the beginning. She even gave me the loan for my first lawnmower. I mean, even back in the day, $3,500, man, was huge to us. We didn't have a lot of money, man. We came from it was tough. They worked hard. My parents worked hard, and we didn't have a lot of money. So every little thing was was a big deal. So she put the lumberyard bill on the credit card, and she didn't tell me till a while later that she was so stressed out with that bill. Didn't know. I mean, $25,000, man, and back then was crazy. But she had the faith that I was going to get it done, and I definitely did. So I built that house on credit cards and on just everything. Bartered with the trades, did everything I could, and I got it up and done. And I moved into my first house when I was 22 years old. So that was how that happened, man. I got the first house going.
You have this landscaping business going, right? And
yeah.
You're just putting everything you make from it is going right into real estate right from the beginning.
Like every dime, man, every dime. We're living like you can't even say paycheck to paycheck. That is, it was like wearing the cleanest shirt on the floor, man, because it was just so much focus, man. Just focus. I just was so focused on that was it. If you want to go back a little bit right before that, how I really kind of got started was my. Let's go back a little bit further so you can get a little bit of history. I'm trying to go because I know we got 45 minutes, but Pops was just a workaholic, man. He was a workaholic. So like I said, he had the scrap metal business going during the week. And then during the week, so I want to get to this a little bit too, because storage has been a part of my life since I can remember. He had the scrap metal. Then during the week, we would stop at the storage auctions, where people didn't pay for the rooms and they would auction them off. So we would buy the rooms during the week, and then we would sell all the merchandise on the weekends. Now, we started out on the side of the road. We had a trailer with all the merchandise, put it on the side of the road, like a little yard sale. Then we started doing flea markets. My whole life, we did flea markets on the weekends. Yeah. So even talk before storage was really a thing. We had 19 truck bodies. My father had 19 truck bodies. I don't know if you know what a truck body is, but think of like a Ryder rental truck. The back of that, the truck body.
Yeah.
He had 19 of those on all of our different properties, full of merchandise, just full. So that's kind of how we got started with the retail end of it. And then he morphed into stores. He had his first store. We do it on the weekends. We were scrapping during the week, doing the store on the weekends. And once we started doing the store, I'm talking, I must be 9, 8, 10, 11, those years. I didn't get paid to go to work. I had to go to work every Saturday and Sunday with him. Rain, sleet, snow, cold, it didn't matter, man. I had to go and work the store, and I only made the money from things that I sold. So back then, I was selling baseball cards. I had Nintendo games. I had a list. I was buying the games in school, and then I would sell them at the weekend on the weekends at the store, and vice versa. I had a list with me. So he taught me just, you got to make your money. Oh, that's it. There was no pay. I didn't get paid from him.
You literally learned entrepreneurship from your dad.
Dude, I had an ice cream chest. I used to sell ice cream there. I mean, you name it, man. Whatever. He let me buy rooms, and I was selling it. One time, I remember I had Harley Davidson memorabilia, pictures, plaques, all kinds of stuff for Harley Davidson. Dude, that stuff sold like in the weekend. Everything was selling.
So you start this landscaping business. You immediately have this plan that you're gonna take, and I love the way this story resonated with you, right? Like you see your dad, you see him lose the time, it put you on a mission. You
Right.
have the landscaping business. The landscaping business successful. I know now you're not doing landscaping. What happened that transitioned you to get out of landscaping and sort of level up your game into different businesses?
Well, I didn't get out of landscaping until about 2 years ago, man. I did that for 23 years. I had that landscape business going. So what happened was you got to see, right? You got to have instincts in business and in life. You got to have instincts, and you got to see what's coming. So what was happening in the landscaping business, and this was about 12 years ago, I saw this coming. You had so much competition in the landscaping business where any off-duty cop could get a lawnmower and go cut grass, or, any illegal could come. There was no barrier to entry, man. So I was really doing good, but I saw the writing on the wall for that business. So I said, I got to figure something out. I'm not a college guy, man. School wasn't for me. It just wasn't my thing. So I looked around, and I like residual businesses, residual income. So with the landscaping, the maintenance was residual, right? We're cutting grass, we're doing mulch, we're cutting privets, we're doing spring cleanups, and that work is every year guaranteed. Now, if you're doing install for a landscape, that's not guaranteed. That's like putting a roof on a house. You put a roof on a house once in 30 years, and then the customer doesn't spend money with you, right? So you want to try to find residual income businesses, right? Like your electric bill. Every month you got to pay the electric bill, your cable bill, right? So those bills aren't going anywhere. So when I do businesses, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for residual income. So if I can get a customer, that customer is going to spend money with me for life, right? So cutting the grass. Then I'm thinking, all right, well, what about the garbage, right? I didn't know anything about garbage, right? Some people, your father's a plumber and you become a plumber. I didn't have that. I'm trying different things out. So I looked at the garbage business like, all right, all the competition for them to get into garbage, the least they need is a commercial license, a commercial B driver's license. So that's going to knock out a lot of the competition. You see far less new garbage companies pop up than you do landscaping.
Right.
So I started that business, and I just wanted to get enough customers. I wanted to get my high-end landscape customers because I was just about to have my first kid, and I just wanted to get enough customers. Wendy, my wife, was working at the time, and she had a flower shop. So I didn't want her to work. I wanted her to be home with the baby. So I said, let me get 300 of my top landscape customers, and then that business will just pay for her to stay home, her car payment, her cell phone, and things like that, and then get rid of her flower shop. So that was the goal in the beginning. Then when I got into it, what I didn't realize was the competition that I had was around for so long, and there was no new competitors on the block in years, man. I'm talking 30 years these guys have been around. So they were so expensive that when I came in at like a reasonable price, dude, my phone started blowing up. I mean, it grew so fast. To put it in perspective, my goal was 300 customers. I can show you my business plan that I went and made up with the accountant, and this is what you need to break even, and this is, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Today, we're doing 3,000 customers every week. 3,000 customers every week. And it just, I didn't expect
for those
that.
of you guys that are listening, if you can't tell just from listening to Frank why he 10x'd this plan, I don't know what to tell you, but I am going to tell you, do not underestimate how important that is from the entrepreneurial aspect. Justin, I agree with you. It is absolutely crazy. But if you hang around with this, I've been lucky enough to hang around with Frank for a few days. This energy doesn't stop from the second he wakes up in the morning until well after I'm asleep, because he goes to bed way after I do. His energy level is crazy. And listen, that's what it takes, right? And that's what's allowed you to really have these businesses that have gone above and beyond. So anyway, I cut you off, but I just
it's all good, Daddy.
it's an amazing thing, and I don't think you realize how next level your enthusiasm and just your zest for life and for business really is.
I appreciate that, man. It's just me, man. And let me get back to why I started the garbage business. Go back to landscaping when I was killing myself, man. When you're out there in the summer and it's dry grass, your allergies are kicking in, you're sweating, you got your nose is running, your nose is raw from the allergies. I made about $100,000 like in my mid-20s, and I thought that I thought I was going to do the right thing and invest it, right? So to me at that time, investing it was give it to Morgan Stanley. So I'm all excited, man. I made $100,000 right after the house was built, and I have $100,000. What do I do with it? So I give it to Morgan Stanley, and they lost all the money. They lost it all. They lost everything, right? So we call them the suits, right? So the suits call, they lost everything. So when that happened, I said to myself, I'm never going to do that again. The only bet that I'm going to take is I'm going to bet on myself. So when I'm doing this garbage business, there was no plan B, man. When I started getting busy, that almost bankrupted me because I didn't have enough capital to fund the dump bill and fund the trucks. And I was thinking 300 customers, but as this phone kept ringing and was growing and growing, this is what I did. I started billing the people quarterly because it was small money. At the time, it was $19.99 a month. I figured I can get 300 customers, cover that from my landscaping business until it gets up and running, then raise some prices. You can't raise a customer if you don't have a customer. So come in, put them in a position where they can't say no to you. But dude, that almost bankrupted me because as I soared past the 300, I was billing the people 3 months after I was doing the service. Yeah. So my pitch was, because I was new to the business, I'm asking people for the credit card. Listen, try me out. You have nothing to lose. If I don't show up, you didn't have anything to lose. I didn't charge you. Give me 3 months to prove myself. And that would have been fine on 300 customers. But when you start getting up to 1,000 people and you're not billing these people for 3 months after you do the service, and you're covering the dump bills and you're paying the fuel for the trucks and you got insurance for the trucks, dude, it was just let me tell you, man, you want to see bankruptcy. So let me tell you how bad it was. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. I had a route on Wednesdays, right? Well, let me sidetrack a little bit. Today's my anniversary with Wendy. You know Wendy, my beautiful, awesome wife. Man, I love her to death. Right? Yeah, thank you, man. So today's 19 years, man. This girl's been by my side. She's been my rock. And dude, when I tell you we've been on the brink of bankruptcy more times than we have not, and she's been there through it. She's always been in my corner, encouraged me. Guys, let me tell you, a good woman adds stability to your life. And that's probably one of the main things, if not the main thing you need to be successful, is to have stability backing you up. When I'm out here working all hours of the night, I get home 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning from whatever I'm doing. There is a plate of dinner on that table with a cover on it waiting for me. Doesn't matter what time I get home. I can't tell you how much that lets you produce. If you got a woman that you got to think about where she is or what she's doing, you just can't produce like that. And she has never given me all I think about is work and business, and she's just got the house done, the dinner cooked, and taking care of the kids. And it's just one less thing you got to think about when you're an entrepreneur. Because what are we? We're deal junkies. All we think about is the next deal, right? So, babe, shout out to you. Love you.
That up. because I don't think it's talked about. It's starting to get talked about more in entrepreneurial circles. You're starting to hear that as a common theme, but you and I talk about this a lot. I'm lucky as all get out, like, just like you, amazingly gorgeous wife, but a rock. Like, she's a rock star and a rock. So I definitely something that I congratulate you for talking about, because it's important, right? That we don't get where we got without that.
100%, man. Shout out to Chrissy too, man. And it's the truth. Every project starts with a solid foundation, right? So if you don't have that, you're not going too far. So that's number one. She's been there 19 years today. We're together 19, married 9, 2 beautiful, healthy, strong kids. Anything that happens, the way I look at life, anything that happens after today, because my kids are so healthy, is a bonus, dude. It's just a bonus. We're all going to make more money, make more deals. It's going to come, it's going to go. When you got that solid foundation, man, and healthy kids, dude, the sky is just a view. There is no limit.
You don't see this, but you're getting congratulations scrolling down the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see it, man, because my
Frank's
camera's
trying
all...
to get on a computer, but he's joining us on his phone, which, by the way, I was busting your chops earlier today, because technologically speaking, you have multiple businesses now, and we'll get into the propane business too, because that kind of leads us into your storage forays. But you have multiple multi-million-dollar businesses, and you're not really, like, you're not on Instagram, and you're not on TikTok, and you're not a computer. Like, we went down to Florida to look at a couple self-storage deals. You don't have a laptop, man. You're like, you got a cell phone, and hey, I'll do what I got to do the way I got to do it. Tell me how you've been able to operate at such a high level. Really kind of not like, you're not 2023 technology.
No, man, I'm not. I'm really not. And I'm not. So, you know what it is? I guess it goes back to, you don't know what you don't know. Like, I don't really know what's available with that kind of stuff. I have great people around me, and they're sending me Google Drives. Dude, I don't even look at that. I don't know. Maybe I should. I don't want to sound ignorant, but I don't know, man. I just get it done. I just get it done. I talk to people, daddies. That's what I do. I want to say something. We pick up the phone and I talk to people. I call people. Yeah, I can respond to an email, but I'd rather talk to people. I've been talking to people since I'm 7, 8, 9, selling Nintendo games, man. That's what it's about. You got to talk to people. So that's how I get it done. I get on the phone, I talk to people, I make a deal, and that's how it gets done, man. The rest of that stuff, I don't know. What am I really missing? Maybe you're thinking about Facebook for marketing. Now, I'm not going to say I don't agree with that, because you do a phenomenal job, dude. I look at you like, I don't do Facebook, but I follow you on the Facebook and I watch you, and that's how we got to meet, man. Because on your weight loss journey, I really got intrigued seeing what you were doing, man. You're so dedicated, and every day with your motivational speaks, it just caught my eye. So a year and a half ago, you and I met through that, and then we were talking about the storage after we got together by our.
It's an interesting story, and I'll share it for everyone. We first talked from a Facebook post I made about a self-storage deal in Florida. We had a maybe 10-minute conversation talking about self-storage, but we became Facebook friends. And you followed my weight loss journey and reached out to me a couple of months ago, because, congratulations to you too, because you've lost almost 30 pounds here since October. Not only that, but put together this group of guys that I now am in a text thread with. There's, I think, 10 or 11 of us on this text thread. Jelly and Heskel, I hope they're watching. They've lost over 40 pounds each, broken under 300 pounds. So you're motivating all these other people to join you on that journey. And I feel blessed that you kind of have included me in that group. But it goes back to the other point, and where I really wanted to go down this road. It's people, right? Like, you're not relying on a laptop. You're relying on people. So tell me about that. And how do you find who to surround yourself with, and how do you choose who to bring into that circle? Because we're not talking about $100,000 businesses. We're talking about businesses.
No, you're talking about multi-millionaires, man.
Businesses.
Yeah.
So how do you decide who you're going to bring into that circle?
Thaddeus, I got to tell you, man, forget the money. I don't even look at that. It's got to come from the heart, man. If whatever you're doing comes from the heart, and I tell my employees this, and I tell my business associates, if it comes from the heart, you can't make a mistake, right? And you can tell in very short time of talking to somebody if they're genuine or if they got an angle. And I could tell right away. So it's genuine people, man, they're attracted to me. I'm attracted to them. And then everything else after that, it just falls into place, man. The people want to do business with you when they, you have a reputation, right? And I talk to the Little League team and I talk to the kids. You only have one reputation. So do you want it to be that you're always late, or people can't count on you, or do you want to be a man of your word? Do you want to be 10 minutes early? Do you want to know when you say something, people can believe you because you don't lie? The only people who are afraid of the only people who lie are afraid of the truth, right? So this is what I even tell my kids. So it's such simple, basic stuff that's really what it is, man. And then networking, right? Contacts equal contracts. You know this guy, and then you need something. One of my dear Bobby, I don't know if he's watching right now, but he just got me one of the largest loan in my life because I'm building the largest propane terminal on the East Coast. And it took me 5 years to get the permit, 5 years of dealing with corruption, abuse of power, delays. The day I was going for my public hearing for my planning board approval, COVID hit and they shut down town hall. The day of my hearing, shut down town hall. So then I finally got the permit after 5 years. Then I think it's going to be a slam dunk to get financing because it's such an incredible, unique project. I'm doing 500,000 gallons of storage. I got a rail siding, six 30,000 gallon rail terminals, a 40,000 square foot industrial building with 8 rental bays, 13,000 square feet office, on and on. And the banks don't want to look at it because they don't understand propane. So I didn't see that coming either. So you want to talk about surrounding yourself with the best people. Bobby connected me with a bank out of Texas who would I ever find or know, or how do you find a bank in Texas? And we just closed on a construction loan this past Friday. So, dude, that's how it works, man. It's just networking, stay close to people, good people, genuine people. And then just like bad reputation, a good reputation spreads too.
I think this is so interesting, and I want to dig into this because a lot of our audience doesn't maybe know the connection here. I happen to be at this car club where you met Bobby.
Right.
This is important, right? Like you put yourself in places. I think it's called Rally Point in
Rally Point, Hampton. Yeah. So I'll tell you about that.
In these situations, in clubs and joining and memberships and going and finding people that are like-minded. So take me through that and how you met Bobby.
All right, so there's a local car club, and it's a gathering. So Rally Point East, it is what it's the perfect name, right? That's what it means. So guys with high-end cars, you gotta have a good net worth to have high-end cars. We're talking Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royce. So
there were a couple decent cars in that place
there were some decent cars in there, right? How'd you like that GT, that Ford GT?
And listen,
I
liked it. My wife that was with me for your birthday party, she was over the moon with the cars that were out there. So
shout out to Hesco. Shout out to Hesco, right? The car, 14 cars my man has. Yeah, he's got that Ford GT, just parked it there. So anyway, you get a car. We're in the car club together, and then these are all like-minded guys, right? Anybody that's going to join that club, they number one, all right, they're successful, right? They got to be successful to afford the membership. It's not free. You're not just walking in there. And then once you get in, you start talking to people. Oh, what do you do? How, and then it just happens, man. It doesn't matter where you go. If you go into any type of networking thing, but that car club really put some good people together. I've met some really good friends out of that, some really successful friends. And now it turns into business relationships, just like us. You and I met over fitness, and now we're talking multimillion-dollar storage deals, man. I didn't see that coming when I saw you walking down whatever road you were walking down, all that, all that motivation. I didn't see that coming. I was saying, yo, dude, I could lose a few pounds here myself because listen, I was always in shape my whole life, man. I have powerlifting background. I was always in shape. I was never a fat guy. But when I started these businesses, the Go Green, the garbage business, when I had so much opposition, man, so much. Again, what is stress? Stress is money. If it's $1,000 or $100,000, if you don't got it, it's the same amount of stress, man. So when I started those businesses, that the amount of stress that came because I had everybody trying to put me out of business. Everybody putting me out of business. And why? Because every customer that I was getting, you got to remember, they all had a company. So I was taking them from an existing company. Now, the companies that were around all specialized in one area. This guy was Southampton. This guy was the North Fork. This guy did East Hampton. This guy did west of the canal. And when I came out, I advertised the whole place, man. So I stepped on everybody's toes. So then what they do? They all get together, and instead of the one in the back of the head, they go political on me. They all know the DEC. They know the town. They know the fire marshal. So what do? There's no place legally for me to park my truck because you need an industrial property. I didn't think that far ahead when I started a business. I said, I'm going to go pick up a few cans. So they had the code enforcement on me. They had the town on me. I had a rental house that I was parking some of my trucks at, and they did a raid on it. And they put me in the paper like I'm Al Capone. They said he's running an illegal landscaping business. What is an illegal landscaping business? An illegal masonry business. They put in the paper, right? So what is that? Why? Because the property wasn't zoned commercial. It was a residential property with a flag lot. And so that's how they, I was dealing with fake news before it was fake news.
So I think that's so interesting that you brought that up, and I'll go down that road a little bit. That everyone wants to have jobs and everyone wants to have the security of being able to go out in the marketplace and find work, but nobody really understands what it takes to start a business that then employs those people, right? And so look, you're out, you start a business, and look, we know there's people out there that are scoundrels and are doing stuff that's super shady to make money. On the flip side, you're starting a new business. You don't freaking know the rules. You don't know every freaking thing that you're supposed to follow, and they don't come at you and say,
there's no book.
Frank,
there's no book.
We need you to do this. Can you fix this? They come at you and say, hey, we're shutting you down, right? There's no like, hey, we're going to help you out here, and here's what we'd like to see.
Nope. They're not. No way, man. They're looking to like sabotage you, man. They're like landmines. It's landmines. It got so bad. Let me tell you that I got so many stories, man. You only got 45 minutes. You're gonna have to extend this. I bought
4 weeks.
Yeah, dude. I bought a roll-off company, right? Real quick, and I bought it with 11 dumpsters for my landscaping business because I couldn't wait for all these guys to bring materials, topsoil, and all this stuff, right? All the materials, trees I needed for my jobs. So I bought a roll-off company for my landscaping business so I can move my own materials because I have we're at a job at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're waiting for a load of topsoil. You got a machine there waiting, and it doesn't show up till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So all right, I can't deal with that. So I buy this roll-off company, 11 boxes. In 2 years, I blew that business up to 89 dumpsters. 89 dumpsters that because all my builders, I said, all right, listen, I got the boxes. Can I do your roll-off work? 89 dumpsters in 2 years. The problem was, you don't see this coming. I was still working out of that little flag lot in the back where I kept my lawnmowers. So now I got 89 dumpsters back there, my big truck in the residential neighborhood. Yeah, no, I should have known better, but I didn't, dude. I'm a kid. I didn't know. You know what I mean? I didn't know. So they hit me so bad. They had the code enforcement, the town police, the fire marshal, the DEC all came and did this major raid on me. They went down in the house and they gave me tickets for no handrail going downstairs. Nobody ever came and said, listen, you got 30 days to move the stuff. You got to find a piece of commercial property. You got to do none of that, dude. None of that. They just came. They put me all in the newspaper. Like I said, Al Capone. So, right. Nobody's out there to try to help you when you're just getting going. When you get successful, everybody wants to be your friend, right? We all know that, right? Everybody wants to be your friend, right? Yep. No, but back in the beginning, man, it's, dude, it's just hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. And that's what an entrepreneur is. What's that?
I want to kind of get back to real estate and what you've been able to do, roughly 25 years now. I don't want to give your age away, but roughly 25 years you've been an entrepreneur.
It's just beginning, dude. I'm not old. I'm just beginning. It's just the beginning.
I'm older than you. And I hope
44 years old, baby. Just getting started.
Man.
I love it. But you've been able to amass a pretty nice real estate portfolio out on Long Island at this point. Talk to me about that.
All right, so that goes back to what I said before. We're trying to build residual income businesses, right? So I love residual income, and I like multiple streams of revenue, and that's the goal, man. Think about it as like a pot, right? You have a pot, and now you have income coming in from one source. For me, it was landscaping. Put the money in the pot. Then you get the garbage going. Now you got income from landscaping and from garbage. So what do you do with that income? We know we're not going to put it in the stock market. So then I started to buy real estate. And then I bought one rental house, And now I have income going into the pot from the landscaping, from the garbage, and from the rent. So it's like, all right, this is working out, man, because the first of the month. Now with the landscaping business, if it's raining, you're not working. It's seasonal. In the wintertime, you can't make any money. But on the rent roll, it doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing, hot, cold, wintertime. The rent is due on the first of the month, man. Every first of the month is a birthday. Somebody's bringing me dough. So is the residual part of that. I got hooked, man. I got hooked. So now I got these 2 cash flowing businesses. They were making money. And then I just took all the profits and kept dumping it back into real estate, You go out, cut some lawns, rake some leaves, pick up some garbage pails, go buy a piece of property. Do it again. Go buy a piece of property. Then you're taking the rent, adding it to the pot, to the landscaping, the garbage. Now it's starting to build up a little faster, like a snowball, turning into an avalanche. And then it just goes, man. When you can get past that, they say the first million is the hardest million. If you can get past that first million, dude, it just starts to roll one after the other after the other. So, and a lot of this, everything that's ever happened to me, whether it was the worst thing in the world at the time, has always turned into such a blessing. So, for example, with all the problems I had with the garbage business, and I couldn't afford a commercial piece of property. A piece of property came up for sale at that time. I had to sell the roll-off business because I had to sell the roll-off business because I didn't have any place to put it. I loved the business, but I actually sold it for enough money to pay off my first house. So that was that it sucked to sell the business, but it was a blessing because I got enough money to pay off the house. When that happened, I was so desperate to buy a piece of property back in 2008. The original, like the car dealerships, I don't know if you remember in 2008 when Chevrolet stripped a lot of the dealerships, any ones that weren't on the main road, they took the dealerships away. So a 5.5 acre piece of property, an old dealership came up for sale, but it's been abandoned. All the copper was ripped out of it. The squatters were in it. I mean, the place was a disaster. So I got it for $1.5 million. And I had no idea how I was going to pay for it. At 1.5 million, it was everything, dude. It's a story, dude. Here's a story. I went in. So the guy held the note for me. He was going to hold the note for me. So I knew I was going to get it done. So I came in about 2.5 months before I closed on it, and I started renovating the building, because I wanted to collect the rent on day one before my payments started kicking in. So I started renovating the building, and I got 90% done on the building. And the fire marshal walked in.
Oh,
and I had no permits, man. I had no permits. So he put a stop work order on the building that I didn't own. So,
oh Lord.
So my uncle, you just leave it to him, man. To zingers, he says, you put a stop work order on another man's property. And I did, man. I definitely did. So, thankfully, I got it done before anything really got registered. I was just so close to having it done. The guy was holding the note, so it wasn't a bank mortgage, so it really didn't make a difference at that point. So that was that was great. I got through that. He held the note. I'm actually sitting in it right now. We're sitting in the building right now.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was one of my.
There's a theme here, man, that I just hear nonstop, which is you make a decision that you're going to do something. Mm-hmm. There is no paralysis by analysis in your game. Like you shoot first and then figure it out.
You know why? Because I've had nothing. So to go back to it doesn't scare me. I'm not afraid to make a mistake, because not that I made mistakes. It's just some things that. I don't know, man. I'm just not afraid. I'm just not afraid to do it, because you know why? Because I'm betting on myself. The only thing that's going to stop me is me, not the fire marshal, not the code enforcement, not the building department, none of that. It's the only thing that's go back to the Morgan Stanley. I'm betting on myself. Guys, yourself is the best bet you can ever make, because you're going to do whatever it takes to get it done. There is no plan B, right? Thaddeus, we were talking to Ralph about that this morning. Ralph, he's got a job he's got going on. He had to get up at 3:00 this morning because he's thinking of nothing but the job. Morgan Stanley's not getting up at 3:00 in the morning to protect your money. You understand? You know how many days I've been up still from yesterday? No, I didn't get up at 3. I'm still up from yesterday, because I'm not going to let whatever I do fail. That's why I'm in that garbage truck at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm going to make it work. So that's the entrepreneur, man. You got to just do it. You're going to take some chances, but the chances of it working out in your favor is, I'd tell you, 99.9% if you bet on yourself. When you put it into Bitcoin or you put it into stock market or stuff that you don't control, dude, you're at a disadvantage. So again, going back to what I look for, things that I can control. If I'm landscaping and an employee doesn't show up, I can get on the lawnmower. The garbage business, if an employee doesn't show up, I can get in the garbage truck and go get the job done. If the propane driver doesn't show up, I can get in the truck and go do the propane, right? But I can't cook, so I'm not going to open a restaurant. So stick to what you know, man. If that chef doesn't come in, dude, now I'm stuck, right? So that's another thing. Stick to what you can do and what you know. That's huge. Like I said, if they don't show up, I go and get the job done.
So we got 3 minutes left before I got to wrap this thing up. And listen, we're gonna have you back on again. There's gonna be, stop showing off your forearms, man. I know you're listening.
I'm trying to see the time. I was trying to see if you're right. I can't see the time.
It's 7:41, so we got 4 minutes, but I need a minute to wrap this thing up. What is it about self-storage that has sucked you into this space? I know obviously it's got
I'll go quick because
but from a money-making perspective, why is this so attractive to you?
Because I've been around storage my whole life. So I've always wanted to get into storage, but it's, I didn't know how profitable it was. So it never really got my full attention. I guess I was just waiting to find the right deal. When you and I talked about a year and a half ago, we found a beautiful property and I liked it. But then the next day, another deal right close to home fell in my pocket. So it just wasn't the right time, right? So now that I've just bought a new piece of property and I go off instinct. Before your feasibility study came back so incredible, my instincts are telling me, all right, look, we got all kinds of new apartments being built here. And there's no land around here, so I don't have anybody going to compete with me. I think this is a perfect spot for storage. So then I reached out to you. You did the feasibility study. I mean, you can explain that better than I can.
Steve Ross did it.
Steve Ross, right? Steve Ross.
Steve Ross has been doing feasibilities for 30 years and has never seen a property pro forma like yours did, which is always a good sign.
Oh, wow. Man, I didn't know
and I bought the property before knowing that, right? So that was, again, take a shot, man. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but when I get any contract, I'll figure it out. I know it's a beautiful piece of property and I'm going to do something with it. So now that I got that feasibility and I understand how the storage works, dude, that's going to be my main focus. That's the main focus. We're going forward with that. So we're going to get this one built up. This one right now we're looking at, it's going to be probably about 125,000 square feet, 3 stories, 80 to 90,000 net rentable space. And it's going to be the flagship one. So we're going to get rolling with this one, get it going. And that'll be the first of hopefully many. I want to keep going. I went down to see your Cube Smart in Texas. Incredible. Those 3 lots you have in Florida. I love all 3 of them. Still working on that. We're not out of the game yet. Yeah, actually. Yeah. And dude, this is just the beginning. Like I said, Daddy, it's just the beginning. Let's see what happens if we don't give up.
Let me tell you something, man. I consider myself absolutely blessed to have fallen into your realm, man. I'm considered a guy that has a ton of energy and that brings positivity to the rooms that I'm in. Dude, I'm like 1/100th of what you bring to the table, man. So it's a blessing to have gotten to know you. We've obviously traveled.
Dude, you too, man. We're hitting it. Yeah.
Become friends, but man, your story is so motivating. And if somebody listening to this show couldn't take some serious tidbits and some nuggets for their life and how to level up their game, I don't know what else to put in front of them to help them out other than some of these things you're telling to people, man. So Frank, we will definitely do this again for sure, sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for coming on. One of the people just typed in second show next week. So clearly there's some people that got
maybe we get some more ratings in CNN.
Frank. So appreciate it so much. Listen, on that note, we will not have Frank next week because we're going to be talking to 2 incredible entrepreneurs, Jennifer and Jeremy Perkins. They are a couple out of Tennessee that are in self-storage, also in other aspects of real estate. Excited to talk about them. Just like Frank talked about, actually, one of the big things we're going to talk about with Janet. Frank's showing us off checks on his desk.
No, I'm just trying to see you guys now.
Jen and Jeremy are going to talk to us about how to have that relationship succeed in an entrepreneurial environment, right? And so really excited to talk to them. And then the week after that, Steve and I are going to be actually out in Vegas live on the trade show floor of the ISS show. And we're going to talk to JC Morales. JC is out of Puerto Rico, incredibly successful entrepreneur from Puerto Rico, big in the Airbnb space and the hospitality space. So excited. And he's starting to dabble into self-storage as well. So next couple weeks, got some really great people coming on. But as I said, we'll definitely have Frank back soon. And I will make sure everyone knows exactly when that's going to be. Because I know if you listen to this interview, you're going to absolutely want to hear when we talk to him again. Frank, thank you so much. We will talk soon. Murph, as always, thanks for helping me guide this ship.
Frank, appreciate you.